So today I'm going to do something a little different. Um, I had been living in Shanghai for about a year and I decided to create a blog. It's called A Constant Change. And I used it for about the first maybe 1 to 2 years I was here. And then I kind of gave up on it. But I came across the first essay that I wrote, and it's called The Road to Shanghai. So for this podcast, I thought it could be kind of cool to just read that essay to you guys and take a look at the past. And maybe when I'm done reading it, we can talk about the time that has been in between. So I'll just get started. The article is called The Road to Shanghai, and I'll leave a link in the description so you can look at the photos and stuff as well. All right. In December of 2014, I graduated from Champlain College in Burlington, Vermont. My road to Vermont was not as smooth and as easygoing as the people you meet there. I grew up in Long Island, and well, I didn't fit in with the stereotypical Long Islander. I don't follow traditional sports, I'm not into spray tans, and I avoid the Roosevelt Field Mall at all costs. I was born in Manhattan and grew up there for the first 6 years of my life. I think those first years could be my saving grace from turning into the way too common douchebag that makes trips out to Bordy Barn in the summer and drinks themselves into oblivion. My final attempt to fit into the mold that surrounded me growing up was my choice to go to the University of Rhode Island. I spent my first year of undergrad there, and even though I quickly learned it wasn't for me, I decided I would stick it out and make it through 1 year. In retrospect, I think the school has some great qualities. However, I was trying to fit in all the wrong places. I wanted to join a fraternity, and I didn't get the bid to the frat and thought I was a shoo-in, so that hit me pretty hard. The culture just wasn't for me. I remember the day I transferred to Champlain College. It all happened extremely fast. It was April, I was bored on my computer at URI, and I finally decided I definitely could not be here for another year. I went to the Champlain College website and was surfing around. I had been accepted to Champlain while applying to colleges in high school. It was actually my first choice back then, but I decided not to go there for stupid reasons. That is a totally different story. I sent an email to a Champlain rep, and they got back to me that day saying I could register for the next semester as soon as I wanted, since I'd already been accepted last year. It was such a shock because in the past, waiting for responses from schools took so long. I called my mom, talked it through, and that day wrote back asking for the registration forms. I spent the next 3.5 years at a school and town where I felt I truly belonged. It went by so fast looking back, I can't believe I ever wanted to graduate and move on. But that day came and went. The next move was Shanghai. Back to December of 2014. I am weeks away from graduating, and I do not have a plan. I do, however, know my friend Pat Dodge interned for a skate company in Shanghai. I reached out to Pat, got connected with Iconics, and am now talking to the manager of Iconics about the possibility of sending it out there to work for a year. Fast forward 2 months, and I'm in Shanghai with no return ticket. I have traveled a little bit prior to this trip, but this was the farthest away I have ever been from home. Not only am I far away, I have no immediate plans to go home. On top of that, I don't know any Chinese at all. Well, I know how to say hello. To be honest, I didn't really have an interest in China before coming to Shanghai. This was an opportunity for me to take a leap outside of my comfort zone and start something new. It has been 8 months since the day I landed in Shanghai. I came here for a job. My job is to coordinate and set up skateboard programs around the city and run skateboard lessons at our indoor skate park. The past 8 months have taught me a lot about myself and what I want to do with the future. I've decided that I'm going to stay in Shanghai for 2016. There is still so much more I can learn from living here, and I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity. I can tell you some things I've learned. I've learned that I can be financially independent. I'm able to support myself today, But would I be here? But would I be where I am right now without the help of my parents for the past 23 years? I'm lucky. Growing up, I got a lot of support and opportunities most people don't get. Sometimes I feel guilty. I feel this way because without their support, I I feel this way because without their support, I could question if I could have done this all by myself. Does this mean I'm not truly independent today? Because without them, I would have never gotten to here in the first place. It's a tough one for me to ponder, but putting it on paper helps. I can tell you another thing I've learned. I learned what it is like to work in the skate industry. I can tell you what it is like for your profession to also be something that you love. The thought of this growing up was a dream. It was my dream to grow up and be a professional skateboarder. And today, I am one. The version of a pro skater I am today is not the same one that I would have had as a kid, but skateboarding is still my job. In this job, I have to make business choices. Sometimes these choices conflict with my feelings for what I love. That is not such a great feeling. But in the end, I know I'm genuinely making some kids seriously psyched on skateboarding. And that is rad. Wow. Reading that was pretty actually intense. Thinking back to how much things have changed. Today I've gone so far, I don't work for Iconics anymore. I have my own skate class company. I work with a school and I hire coaches, and wow, I guess I truly have graduated to something bigger and better. I've in the time that I wrote this article and now I worked at Push Media and grew so much. I started as an intern there and eventually worked my way up as an editor, and then, as a DP a little bit. I got to do a mix of everything in that job, and then a project manager, and eventually even working on a project where I worked directly with the client all the way up till we got paid. I did everything myself, and now I'm working on some bigger and newer things that I can announce in the future. I'm really excited about what I'm doing today. This podcast has been huge for me, just being able to talk to so many different people. Wow. It's good to reflect back on how far you've come. Sometimes it's easy for me to get down about certain things, but going back and reading this and seeing how far I've come is it's a little bit of a boost in confidence. So I encourage everyone out there, if you're ever feeling down at all, maybe take a look back at how far you've come. It can really do wonders. This is a quick one, guys. If you guys liked this, this is kind of strange just talking by myself on a podcast without someone. But if you enjoyed it, let me know. Send me a message and I'll do more. All right. Peace, guys.
Thank you.